I stand in the red dust of Morocco at Jebel Irhoud, one of the places our story begins. Here, scientists have uncovered Homo sapiens fossils dated to about 315,000 years ago. This predates previous estimates by roughly 100,000 years. In fact, as researcher Matthew Skinner explains, these finds push back the origins of our species by 100,000 years, suggesting that early humans were already spread across Africa at that time. The remains here have a modern-looking face but an archaic brain case, showing our species was evolving on a continent-wide scale. The stone tools around me, simple flakes and points, look familiar too. Archaeologist Shannon McFerrin notes the stone artifacts from Jebel Irhoud look very similar to ones from deposits of similar age in East Africa and in Southern Africa. In short, Homo sapiens was born in Africa around 300,000 years ago, wielding Middle Stone Age technology that would gradually improve over millennia. From Africa, I follow our species' footsteps across the ancient landscape. Modern humans had already probed into the Middle East long before the Big Exodus around 60,000 years ago. For example, at Mislia Cave in Israel, a jawbone has been dated to about 177 to 194,000 years ago, the oldest Homo sapiens fossil found outside Africa. Leaving Asia, I enter Europe around 45,000 to 40,000 years ago. In the Balkans, sites like Barčo Cave in Bulgaria yielded human bones and tools dated to around 45,000 years ago. Natural History Museum scientist Chris Stringer calls this the oldest and strongest evidence for modern humans in Europe, showing we were here millennia before Neanderthals vanished. Those early Europeans made aurignation tools and adorned themselves with bear-tooth pendants, suggesting rich culture. We even know Homo sapiens and Neanderthals met here. DNA from a 40,000-year-old Homo sapiens, the Oasi jawbone in Romania, shows a Neanderthal ancestor just 4 to 6 generations back. Now imagine crossing open water. To reach Australia, New Guinea, the Pleistocene continent known as Sahul, our ancestors built boats or rafts. The evidence is staggering. Excavations at Majid Bebe rock shelter in northern Australia have revealed artifacts and camp remnants dating to roughly 65,000 years ago. These early Australians, ancestors of today's Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, spread across deserts and coasts. At Lake Mungo in New South Wales, a female burial known as Mungo Lady is dated to approximately 42,000 years old, showing complex behavior with a grave adorned with ochre. On many sites, they made groundstone tools and painted birida or dot paintings. After 20,000 years in Asia and Oceania, Homo sapiens finally ventured into the Americas via the Bering Land Bridge. The exact timing is debated, but it was certainly before 15,000 years ago. Previously, we thought Clovis hunters, around 13,000 years ago, were first, but older sites have overturned that view. At Buttermilk Creek in Texas, the Friedkin site, archaeologists have found spear points in sediments dated to about 15,000 years ago. The most dramatic revelation comes from New Mexico. Human footprints preserved in ancient lake mud at White Sands National Park have been dated to 21,000 to 23,000 years ago. These are the oldest human tracks in North America, left by children and adults during the last glacial maximum. Genetically, all Native Americans descend from a single Siberian origin population that lingered in Beringia for millennia. Once ice receded, groups found out along the ice-free Pacific coast and through interior corridors, populating North America by 15,000 years ago. South America was swiftly peopled next. The superstar site is Monte Verde in Chile. In the 1970s and 80s, Tom Dillahay's team uncovered a mud bog campsite with wood huts, grass bedding, and a rich midden of food refuse dating to about 14,500 years ago. Monte Verde famously contained no Clovis points, proving that peoples unknown to the North American Clovis culture had already arrived. Since Monte Verde, other early sites in Argentina, Brazil and Patagonia, some dating around 13,000 to 14,000 years, have been documented. Antarctica is the one continent without ancient natives. It remained unknown to humanity until modern exploration. European mariners spent centuries in the southern oceans. Captain Cook crossed the Antarctic Circle in 1773 but saw no land. The first confirmed sightings of the continent came in 1820. Russian explorers Bellingshausen and Lazarev reported an ice shore of extreme height in late January 1820, and around the same time British charting officer Edward Bransfield saw high mountains covered with snow. After the discovery, sealers and whalers tested the coasts. In February 1821, American sealer John Davis may have made the first landing on Antarctic mainland, though it's disputed. The first documented landing on the continent came on 24 January 1895, when a Norwegian expedition set foot at Cape Adare. Today, no one lives in Antarctica year-round except scientists. About 4,800 people inhabit the continent in summer and roughly 1,200 over the winter. Over 55 countries operate around 70 research stations spread across the ice. Under the 1959 Antarctic Treaty, the continent is set aside for peaceful science. From the African savanna to the icy Antarctic coast, each continent has a chapter in our story. We began in Africa around 300,000 years ago, then journeyed across Asia, braved Ice Age Europe, crossed oceans to Australia, climbed into Beringia and down into the Americas, and finally unveiled Antarctica. This global odyssey, traced in archaeology, genetics and expert insights, reminds us that Homo sapiens is a migrant species at heart, ever curious and ever adapting.